Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarod. Anirakaranamastu anirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirate yaupanishatsu dharmaste mai santu te mai santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeni Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Ityeta Aksharamudgitam Upasita Om iti hyudgayate tasyopavyakhyanam. Page 287. Sayatha tatra na dahyeta aitadatmidam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi shvedaketo iti tadhasya vijajñaviti. Sayatha tatra na dahyeta. So our reading is adahyeta. Adahyeta, that's our reading. The Tikakara on the line 20 is Nadahyeta, so he must have reading Nadahyeta. But anyway, it should be Nadahyeta. Sayatha tatra Nadahyeta. Sayatha Satyabhisandaha. One who is committed to truth, one who is taking the truth. Nadahyeta tat parsu grahana karmani. Even when that person, he holds in his hand a heated axe, satya vyavahita hasta talatvat, because the surface of the palm is protected by the truth, is hidden by the truth, is screened by the truth. Nadahyeta, he is not burnt. Ityetat evam, in this manner, ityetat, evam, then we have to add this. So the drishtanta is given, the ashtanta is given by Bhashyakara. Yatha shabda suchitam, evam shabda yuktam, darshtantingam aha. So what is suggested by Yatha in the text, which Bhashyakara indicates as evam. Sad Brahma Satyavisandhi Itarayoho. Sad Brahma Satyavisandhi. One who is abiding in the truth, which is Sat, which is Brahma. Itarayoho, other person who does not abide in the truth, who abides in falsehood. Meaning that what is not self is taken to be the self. That is a falsehood. The body-mind sense complex, which is not the self, is taken to be the self. So that means that he abides in the falsehood. As Bhashyakara says, Anyatha bhutam santam, anyatha atmanam kurate. Atma, the self, anyatha bhutam, which is Satchidananda, which is Sat, Brahma. Anyatha kurate. He takes it the other way around, takes it to be incomplete, dukkhi, takes the body, mind, sense complex as the Atma. So, Satyavisandhi itarayo, of these two, Sharirapata kaleja tulyayam sat sampattau, from the evidence of the Shruti, that Sharirapata kale, at the time of the death of this body, Sat Sampattau Tulyayam, both of them equally become one with Sat. Sat Sampatti, attainment of Sat is one, is similar to both of them. Vidwan Sat Sampadya. So just as holding that heated X is common to both the person who is right, person who is truthful, person who is dishonest. But how the person who is honest and truthful is not burned, and how who is dishonest is burned similarly also. Holding the X, meaning that merging into Sat, is similar to both the wise as well as ignorant person. But then the wise person does not emerge. Vidwan Sat Sampadya na puna avartate. The Vidwan, wise person, does not return. In what sense? Vyagra devadi deha grahanaya. So what is meant by returning to samsara is taking up another body, such as Vyagra, such as Deva. That means being born again in an embodiment, being identified with that embodiment. Therefore, suffering from a sense of limitedness, incompleteness, insignificance. And therefore, being unhappy. So that is samsara. Na avartate. Yad gatva na nivartante. Does not come back. Avidvans, on the other hand, avidvan, ignorant person who takes the body to be the self. So you come back to the same self which you know it to be. If you know the body to be the self, then you come back to the body in the next birth. If you know Sat to be the self, then you remain in Sat. So avidvans to vikar anutavisandaha. So understand, constantly abhisandhi is going on in our mind as to who I am. Whether we consciously think of that or not, but then even unconsciously also, constantly, this thought of who I am is always there in the background. And therefore, the one in whom the thought is, I am so and so, I am the body, I am so and so, I am a limited individual. If that thought is constantly there, that is the Anvita Abhisandhi. So, Vikara Anvita Abhisandaha. What is Vikari? What is ephemeral? What is changing? What is perishable? which is false, and that he takes him to be the self. Instead of Sat Brahma, he takes this Anurta, what is not self, to be the self. Meaning the body is taken to be the self. Therefore, Vyagradi Bhava, Devata Bhava. Then he comes back to again attaining a body of a tiger or of a god. Yatha karma, yatha shrutam, in accordance with the karma and the upasana that is performed, pratipadyate, he comes back to the samsara. Then continuing, स एषः अणिमा इत्यादि व्याचष्टे. So, स एषः अणिमा ऐतत् आत्मविदं सर्वं तत् सत्यं स आत्मा तत्त्वमसि श्वेतकेतो इति. That part of the passage now is explained by Bhashyakara Yadatma iti in the 8th line. Yadatma abhisandhi anabhisandhi krute moksha bandhane yacca moolam jagatah yadayatanaha yat pratisthascha sarvah prajaha yadatmakam cha sarvam yacca ajam amritam abhayam shivam advitiyam tat satyam sa atma tava ataha tattvamasi हे श्वेतकेतो इति उक्तार्थम् असकृत वाक्यम्. यत् आत्म अभिसंधि अनभिसंधि कृते मोक्ष बंधने. So abhisandhi, when there is a constant awareness of which Atma, Atma of which, when there is constant awareness, there is moksha. Anvisandhi, or the same Atma of which that awareness is not there because there is awareness of an Atma or something other than Atma. Therefore, more bandhanam. So Atma of which the knowledge is the means of moksha, of which the ignorance is the means of bandhanam or bondage. This is a description of Atma. Aitat Atmaidam Sarvam. Yesha Anima. Yaha Esha Anima. This is the subtle essence. Which is that? The abhisandhi, or the constant awareness of which is the means of moksha, and the ignorance of which causes the bondage. Yacca moolam jagatah, which is the root or the cause of the jagat. Sadeva soumya idam agrasit ekameva advityam. Idam, this nam rupatmakam jagat, this universe made up of names and forms, was before its creation Sat, one and non-dual. So this one says that Sat is the upadana karanam, material cause of this universe of names and forms. And upadana karanam is the very cause, the very self, the very root of an effect. So that very first statement presents Sat as the moolam, the very cause, yan moolam jayatcha moolam jagatah. That Sat or Brahman, which is jagatah moolam, which is the very cause, the material cause of jagat, of the universe. Yat ayatanaha yat pratisthasya sarvaha prajaha. Sarvaha praja, all the beings, yat ayatanaha, have which as their abode. All the prajas have what as their abode? The self, which is abode of all the living beings. Yet pratishtha Sat, and in which they again merge back. So again, Sadayatanaha, so Sat Pratishtha. So this is what was said, Sanmulaha, Sadayatanaha, Sat Pratishtha. So says here, Krishna Dhyayoptamartham Pindikritya Darshan. Bhashyakara shows here Pindikritya, summarizing this what is taught in this entire chapter. Aitadatmanam sarvam ityadi vakyam vyachaste. Aitadatma, that vakya is being explained by Bhashyakara. Yadatmakam cha sarvam. Aitat atmaidam sarvam. Idam sarvam. The entire universe says, Etad, the Sat as its Atma, and therefore, yet Yadatmakam te sarvam. So Sat, that sarvam, all of the which is Sat as the Atma, or that which is Atma which is Sat. So this is all what we call the Tatastha Lakshanam. All here in all this description, Sat is pointed out with reference to something else, like Bandha Mokshanam, like the fact, like the Jagat, etc. What is the Swarupa Lakshanam? Yacha Ajam, Amrutam, Abhayam, Shivam, Advitiyam. So that is what Bhashyakara derives from what is stated. This text has only used the word Sat, but which is Ajam, birthless. Amrutam, therefore, deathless, immortal. Abhayam, therefore, fearless. Because Shivam, it is auspicious of the nature of Ananda. Advitiyam, non-dual. So this is the Swarupa Lakshana. Tat Satyam, that truth, that Sat or Brahma is Satyam. That is the absolute reality, the non-negatable reality. The very avadhi, meaning where all the process of negation culminates, which is the irreducible substratum, which is the non-negatable substratum. Tat Satyam, so that is Satyam, that is the truth, which is the abode of all the living beings, which is origin of all the living beings, abode of all the living beings, into which all the beings merge back. Sa-atma tava, he Shvetiketu, that is yourself. So tava is added. So the Tikakara says, Sa-atma tava iti shashtya. Atma padena cha. Bheda Veda Shankam, that is your Atma. See, when it is said that is yourself, now what is mine is different from I. So myself, when it is said, then in a way there seems to be an indication that the self is yours, meaning self is different from you. There is a Bheda. Atma, but Atma means the self, so Abheda. So when Bhashyakara says, so Saha Atma Tava, by using your Atma, Bhashyakara indicates Abheda. By using your Tava, your Atma, Bhashyakara seems to indicate Abheda. So Bheda Abheda, Shankam Varayati. Don't think that when you say your Atma, meaning that we mean that Atma is different from you. Tattvamasi, that thou art. Ataha Tattvamasi, that is the truth. Devaheshvetiketu, that is what you are. Because if that is truth, it cannot exclude anything. the truth must necessarily be all inclusive. And the truth that we are talking about is a truth which is not even opposed to the false. Normally true and false are mutually exclusive. So what is true is not false, what is false is not true. So in Vyavahara, day-to-day life, what is true excludes what is false. But not this truth. This is Satyam Abhaditam, which cannot be negated, meaning that it is not the truth that is opposed to the false even. So Sanmula Sadayatanaha Sat Pratishtaha. So that which is Sat as a Moolam, as a very source, as a very abode, as a very place of merger, even false also is included there. The Nam Rupatmakam Jagat, the entire universe of names and forms, includes the Vyavaharika Satyam and Vyavaharika Anritam. Whatever there is in this universe, good, bad or indifferent, all of that has its source in Satyam. So this is absolute truth which is not even opposed to what we call false. It is devoid of the idea of true and false. Because if this truth was opposed to false, then in that very knowledge of truth, the exclusion of false will be involved. When you say one, you are excluding two and three and others. So in the idea of one, that exclusion is contained. I am telling you the truth when I say that. I know that what I am saying is something different from false. So the false is as a counterpart involved with the truth. But here is the truth which does not have false as a counterpart. That's Satyam. So that's why it has to be you, because it cannot exclude you. Ataha tattvamasi shvetaketo. Since the truth is the Atma of everything, and your Atma also, therefore, that is what you are. He Shvetaketu. You are the absolute reality. You are the one that is the very source of the entire universe, upon whom the entire universe rests, under which it again merges back, which cannot be negated, which is unopposed to everything, which sustains everything, which imparts a satta and sphuti to everything. So that's what you are. You are not opposed to anything. You are so great. Meaning that to be unopposed, you have to be greater than, what is opposed. To be unopposed even to your enemy, you must be so great that the enemy also does not create in you the idea of enemy. Even though the other person looks upon you as an enemy, the idea that he is enemy cannot occur in you only when you have grown to such a point that the ideas of friend and enemies are not there. So we are talking about that knowledge which also presupposes this growth. You have grown to that point, then you know that that's what you are. So putre mitra, what is it? Kshatro mitre putre bandho makuru yatnam vigraha sandho. Shatru mitra give up these ideas. Putra mitra give up these ideas. Sarvasminnavi pashyatmanam sarvatro sruja bheda jnanam. Everywhere see the Atma, this bheda jnanam, this divide, the division, exclusion. Give it up, it's born of ignorance. So all inclusive and therefore limitless. If it does not include something, it is going to be limited. So the ultimate concept of God is beyond even good and bad, beyond all pairs of opposites. which is something impossible, very difficult or to even conceive. It is right to say that Ishvara is all good. Ananda Kalyana Guna Ganaika Nila is a wonderful thing. But to even rise above that he is even above the Kalyana Gunam. Because Kalyana Guna is opposed to Akalyana Gunam. He is so great that unopposed to anything. Now that goes beyond the mind, and therefore there is a lot of difficulty with Ishvara of that nature. In short, Advaita Vedanta expects us to grow to such a point that even the pairs of opposites just do not remain. Yasmanno dvijate loka, lokanno dvijate chaya. He does not cause any fear or perturbance to anybody, nor is he afraid of anybody. Because there is no duality. So what Upanishad teaches is something very profound and very great. So more we think about it, we realize what it is, that this is a challenge given to everybody. That look, this is what you are, hey Shvetaketu. And it is for you to grow to that point. Own up this. It's a matter of owning up what you are. And owning up requires you to grow to that point. Then only you can own up. And therefore make your mind so pure. Let all these pairs of opposites, raga, dvesha, everything, just drop them. And even contemplation upon this truth that satya, that absolute reality is myself, keep that in mind, satya visandaha. And realize that everything else is false. Ideas of good and bad, ideas of friend, foe, all of them are false ideas. When we give reality to these ideas, that means that anudabhisandhi is there, we are identified with or giving reality to what is false. Satyabhisandhi. So constantly keep working with your mind. As the mind comes up with the branding, right away make a note of that. And therefore, by Pratipaksha Bhavana or by again bringing the mind back to Satyam. So completely clean up your mind of all the products of ignorance. It's not our fault that we are what we are. Because ignorance is nobody's fault. And the ignorance gives rise to the idea, identification of the body, idea of smallness, an idea of limitedness, idea of insecurity and everything, self-centeredness and raga, dvesha, all are natural. But then what is not right is to continue with that stuff. Even after being exposed to the teaching, even can justify that stuff. Let us say anything else, justify. That still raga dveshas arise in my mind, okay, that's all old habit. But to justify my raga dvesha, that certainly is not justified. In light of what the Upanishad teaches us. Hey Shvetaketu, that is what you are. Think of your glory, think of your greatness, think of your dignity, think of where you are coming from. Don't brand yourself as a Shvetaketu, don't brand yourself as a limited, helpless creature. Don't do that. But Swamiji, will it not make me arrogant? Not at all. Because this is a truth that is all inclusive. I can become arrogant if I exclude things. If I distinguish myself from others, then the possible arrogance is there, that I am so and so, I am something. But that includes everything. Includes the well-being of all. That means also includes the well-being of all. which is well of all. So Christ would say, even pray for your enemies. Meaning you are including your enemies also. Normally we pray for ourselves, but pray for your enemies. Love those who hate you. So include all of them. You have to grow to that point. He may not have said all of this, This is too very soft, but then in a way this is said when these values are taught, that love those who even those who hate you. Pray for those who are your enemies. When it is said, you can see where he is coming from. He is coming from a place which is unopposed to anything, which is all embracing. So that's what is called love, which embraces. So it's an embodiment of love. That's what it is. And in love, everything is embraced. So everybody teaches this or tries to teach this in their own way. But that glimpse is there as to what the truth is and where we have to reach, what we have to become. And the value structure, etc., will be told by different great teachers, and depending upon who they are addressing. Vedanta will talk of sadhana, chatru, sampatti, ramanitma, adambhitma, etc. Iduktartham asakrit. Bhashyakara says this vakya or statement has been explained a number of times. Before we go, yesterday we were reading that footnote. Let us complete that. On the page 283, at the last so this here there is a refutal of what Madhvacharya said. Madhvacharya seems to say that Lord Krishna, when he says asatyam apratishtam, all the description in the 16th chapter is all description of Advaita. Hey, Shvedaketu, this is what you will have to become if you say that you are Brahman. Atatvamasi, tad bhinnasi. Ataha tav stabdhata mahabhut. You are not there, don't worry. So nothing wrong, nothing bad will happen to you, otherwise you know what will happen? So this is the description. Etat upastambhakataya cha Bhagavad Gita udaharati. This is where you will, this is your description. If you are Advaita in meaning, you say that you are Brahman, you are God, then this is what it means. If you are God, that means there is no God. Asatyam, you are Satyam, so there is no truth, no God, you are God, etc. Now continuing on that page 283 in the line 35. Ki manyat kama hetukam. So these people who are Nastikas, Asatyam, Apratishthante, Jagadahu, Anishwaram, Aparaspara Sambhutam, Kimanyat, Kama Hetukam. This universe is merely a product of the union of male and female. And therefore, Kama Hetukam. What's the cause of the universe? Kama. It is the product of Kama or the passion. That's the Hetu. Nashta atmanolpa buddhaya prabhavantyugra karmana kshaya jagato hitaha. So Bhagavad Gita says the people thinking like this, Nashta atmana alpa buddhaya, whose mind is completely destroyed of all goodness, alpa buddhaya, and therefore to take alpa as the real thing. Ityadi vachana sahacharyacha na ayam advaita anuvada. So Madhvacharya says that all these verses are anuvada, reiterating Advaitin. See what kind of commentary that is. So this Tippanikara says that look, the verses, there is not only one verse, subsequently said. In that verse, Kimanyat Kama Haitukam, that verse says, so this is, Lord Krishna is describing people who say that Jagat has no Satyam, no Pratishtha, no Ishvara, okay. But what further do they say? Aparaspara Sambhutam, the Jagat is the product of the union of Para and Aparapara, meaning male and female. Kimanyat, what else? Kama Hetukam, it is Kama as the very cause of the creation. No, that cannot be describing Advaitin. Nashta Atmanolpa Buddha, they have lost their soul. Ityadi vachanas, all these vachanas are also there along with the verse that you quoted. Lord Krishna does not merely quote that one verse, but he quotes the whole thing. So if that verse is a description of Advaitin, all of this also should become the description of Advaitin. Vachana Sahachayat, so that vachana is accompanied with other vachana also. Nayam Advaita Anuvada, this verse is kind of Anuvada or reiteration of the non-dual or Advaitin. Ni Advaitinaha Prapancha Hetum Dharma Dharmadikam Nirakurvanti. Kama Hetukam Advaitin does not say that the Jagat is the product of Kama. Jagat is product of Dharma and Adharma. So Advaitin accepts Dharma as the Pratishtha, as the very cause of the creation. Napi Nashtahatmanaha, you cannot say that they are those who lost their soul because Brahmatma Praptehe, they know Brahman as a very Atma, not Shunya or wrong thing as the Atma. So this description cannot apply to Advaitin. Napi Ekatmavada Shruti Asammata. If you say that Jiva is different from Ishvara or Brahma, that means there are as many Atmas, as many Jivas are there. Advaitin, you say there is only one Atma, where did you get that? So Advaitin says that the Atma is one, is not something which is opposed to Shruti. Eko Deva Sarvabhuteshu Gudha, very clearly say that one Atma Sarvabhuteshu. In all beings, this one Atma, even Devata, self-effulgent consciousness is lodged. Tattam Sri Tvam Pumanasi Tvam Kumara Utava Kumareti Brahma Prakriyayam Ekasyeva Atmana Bahusarireshu Jiva Bhavena Stitatva Darshanam. So Shveta Ashwatarup, when it says, Oh God, Oh Lord, Tvam Sri, you, this woman, you are this woman. Tvam Pumanasi, you are this man. Tvam Kumara, you are this young man. You are this young woman. Iti Brahma Prakriyayam, meaning Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All that is Brahman. Ekasyeva Atmana Bahusarireshu Jiva Bhavena Sitatva Darshanam. You are the self of this woman, the self of this man, you are self of this young man, self of the young woman. Therefore, Ekasya eva Atmanaha, one Atma alone obtains as the Jiva in all these living beings. Meaning that all these texts very clearly say that Atma is one, Atma is not many. So Brahmadasa, Brahmaivaime Kitavaha iti. So Dasa, the servants, or the thieves, and Dashaha, I think that means the fisherman or something. Kitavaha, these thieves, the people. Kitava means one who is kapati. So, one who is cheating. All is Brahma. So all these lower yogis also are all Brahma. Nanya ata siddhashta shrota ityadina. Other than Brahma, there is no drashta, there is no shrota. Brahma vyatirikena jiva nisheda vachanam. Drashta, Jiva think that I am Drashta, I am Shrota. There is no Drashta or Shrota other than Brahma. So Brahma alone is Drashta, Brahma alone is Shrota. There is no Jiva other than Brahman. So Jiva Nisheda Vacharam, by saying that the Drashta, Shrota in all the living beings is Brahman alone, then there is no entity such as Jiva other than Brahman. Chetana Bhedam, only one Drashta is there in all the being, meaning that Chetana also is one, Chetanas are not many. Vyasa says this. Tan Nishthatvam, Tan Mulatvam cha, Asatyasyapi, Tad Adhishthanakatvat, Upapannam. Even Asatya also has Tan Nishthatvam, Tan Mulatvam, Asatyasyapi. Even that which is false also has the source as Sat and has its abode in Sat. Because Tat Adhishthanakatvat Upapannam. Sat is the Adhishthanam of Satyam and Anutam. Therefore, Anuta also has its abode, its source only in Satyam. And therefore, Upapannam. So, this is refuting the interpretation of Madhvacharya of this passage. So with that, we come back to our footnote. Page 287. So Shodasha Khande Anudavadina Chorasya Bandha. We already read that in the 16th section of the 6th chapter, it is clearly stated Anudavadina Bandha. The one who is a liar, he is bound. Chorasya Bandha. Satyavadina Moksha. One who is honest or truthful, he is released. Idyuktam Tena Vacharambram Vikaro Namadhayam Mritvika Ityeva Satyam Idyuktatvat. So now Satyavisandhina Moksha. One who is Abhisandhi, one who is a constant awareness of Satya, he is liberated. What is Satyam? So already this text has said what is Satyam. Vacharambram Vikaro Namadhayam. What is Vikara? What of his product is? Vacharambram is Mithya. Mritvika, the Upadana Karanam, is Satyam. So Satyabhidhana Brahmabhisandha Muchyate Mithya Prapanchabhisandha Badhyate. So that text says what is Satyam and what is Anutam. Vikara is Anutam and Mritika is Satya. Upadana Karanam is Satyam. So now Rupatmika is Vikara. So Anutam, Mithya. And Sat is the Upadana Karanam, which is Satyam. So Satyavisandhi means Abhisandhi or awareness of Sat as the Atma. Anuta Abhisandhi means giving reality to this Prapancha, which is Mithya, giving reality to that will be person who is Anuta Abhisandha, who maintains the false awareness of Jagat, which is not right, which is not Atma. Meaning that the one who gives reality to the names and forms is Anuta Abhisandha. Even though Sat is Satyam, but he gives Nam Rupa, the reality Satyatvam, therefore he is, and there is always awareness of Satyam. So whatever we consider Satyam is what is always there in our mind. If according to us Jagat is Satyam, then there is awareness of Jagat. That means that we are constantly aware of what is wrong, which is Mithya, which is untruth. Iti artha sphutaha. So even though this section did not say all of this, it just gave us this example of how the one who is speaking the truth is released, and how one who was hiding behind untruth was punished, bound. Similarly, one aware of the truth, the Satyam, is released, and one who thinks that he knows truth, but who takes the untruth as truth is bound. So that is the lesson we learned from the 16th section. Madhvacharyastu Purvakhandeshu Atatvamasi yukte. In earlier khanda that we just saw, Tatvamasi is interpreted as Atatvamasi. Brahma bhinna jiva. According to Madhvacharya, understand, not Madhavacharya, Madhvacharya. Madhuacharya becomes Madhvacharya. People say Madhavacharya. Madhavacharya is different. The Sayana and Madhava, that Madhava is different. So, therefore, according to Madhvacharya, Brahma bhinna jiva. The jiva is different from Brahma. Aikyavaditu brahmachora. From this now. So, Anutavisandhi, what is Satyavisandhi? What is Anutavisandhi? That jiva is different from Brahma is Satyavisandha. And the person who says jiva is Brahma is Anutavisandha. And who is Chora? Because that thief was dishonest and therefore he was covering himself from in falsehood. So therefore Aikyavaditu brahmachora. Kim tena kritam papam chorenat mapaharina. So even though jiva is different from Brahman, the one who says jiva is Brahman, he has committed a great sin because he is robbed away Brahman of its true nature. So brahmachora. By calling jiva as Brahma, he is only stealing Brahman. Tasya samsara bandha. The Aikyavadi has to come back to samsara. Iti vyachaste. Tanna, that cannot be right. Tas srishtva tadevanupravishad. Upanishad said that having created the names and forms, he has entered. Nanya atasti drashta. There is no drashta other than this one, other than Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma. They are all very clear statements of Upanishad. Spashta Brahmalinga Vakyani. So there are certain Vakyas or statements which are very clear in revealing the identity of Jiva and Brahma. No doubt at all. Aspashta Brahmalinga Vakyas are also there which need interpretation, but they are all very spashta. Aham Brahmasmi. Now, does not lead to any other interpretation at all. I don't know how they have interpreted that one. Aham Abrahmasmi. I don't know whether the Sandhi also is not there. Atma Tattvamasi, that Sandhi, so he said Atatvamasi. How they interpret Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, you have to see. Says Chayam Purushe, Yasya Savaditye, Saekaha, very clearly says, the consciousness which is the self of this person is the same consciousness that is self of the samashti. Ityadi Shruti Siddhatvat na Advaitinah Choraha. So all these Shruti statements very clearly say that Jiva is Brahman. Therefore, by taking Jiva to be Brahman, Advaitins are not stealing away anything, any glory of Brahman. Apitu Dvaitavadina eva. In fact, those who propound Dvaita or duality, difference between Jiva and Brahma, they should be called Choraha. Because Sarubhuta Brahmana Deshantare Niveshanat. The Brahman, which is my own self, is relegated to some other place. So when you say that Brahman is different from you, Brahman is in Brahmaloka. They call it Vaikuntha, you can, or Goloka. But then, Deshantare Niveshanat, Brahman has been sent away to a different place. Brahman, that is your own self here, has been sent away to a different place. So that means you are hurting Brahman. Iti Sankshepa. So this is Sankshepa of refuting Madhvacharya's opinion. Because Madhvacharya very clearly says about Advaitins. Because the Advaita is so strong, and then unless you refute that, you cannot establish your view. So every Acharya who came later on had to find fault with Advaita, including the Vishishta Advaita. They found 100 faults with the Advaita. Shata Dushani, 100 Dushanas they found. Because otherwise you cannot justify your own view. So Dvaitin also has to find faults with Advaitin. So Apicha Tvaya Advaitavadinah Katham Anudabhisandahayati Nirupaniyam. You say that Advaitavadinah. Those who talk of the non-duality of Jiva and Brahma are Anudabhisandaha, meaning that they only give Anutam false as the truth. How? Tesham Sad Brahmaneva Abhisande. See, there is always awareness of the self. If self is body, then there is awareness of the body as a self. If self is Jiva, there is awareness of Jiva. If self is Brahman, there is awareness of Brahman. So, Tesham Sad Brahmaneva Abhisandehe. So, one who knows Jiva as Brahman, his Abhisandhi, his constant awareness is in Brahman. So, how can you say that Anudabhisandhi? Brahman is Satyam. So if there is awareness of Brahman, then there is awareness of Satyam. You cannot say that you have awareness of Mithya or false. Sada Brahma Matra Dhyana Paratvat. Advaitin always focuses attention of Aham Brahmasmi, Brahma Matra. In his dhyana or meditation, because it is non-dual, there is nothing other than Brahman. See, when you take Jiva as different from Brahman, then in your meditation, Brahman is one thing and Jiva is that more than one thing in your meditation. So Jiva Abhisandhi also is there and Brahma Abhisandhi also is there. Here, there is no Jiva there, only Brahma Abhisandhi. Prasada Brahmatra Dhyana Paratvat Sad Brahmani. That Abhisandhi is always in Sad Brahma. Tvaya tu sagunasya harehe anusandhanat. On the other hand, you are constantly meditating upon Hari, who is Saguna Brahma, who is the Kalyana Gunaganaika Nila, Gunana Mithyattvena. But Gunas are Mithya because they are superimposed upon the Adhishthanam. Tad Vishishta Hare Api Mithyatvat. And therefore the Hari, who is endowed with these Gunas also, if Gunas are Mithya, then one who possesses Guna also becomes Mithya. Because when they say Saguna Brahma, the Guna and Brahma have the same reality. When there is the expression Saguna Brahma, then Gunena Saha Vartate. So Guna and Vartate is Vishnu, both of them have the same reality. So that is the thing. When Vedantin is Saguna Brahma, for Vedantin, Gunas don't have the same reality as Brahman. Gunas are superimposed upon Brahman. That's what Vedantin will say. Even when you use the expression Saguna Brahma, we say that Gunas are all superimposed upon Brahma. There, Gunas have the same reality as Brahma. So if Gunas are Mithya, then Brahman, which has the same reality as Guna, Hari, also becomes Mithya. Tad Vishishta Hare Api Mithyatvat. If the virtues are Mithya, then the one who possesses a virtue as possessor of virtue becomes Mithya. Even though he himself, that will be clarified, not Mithya, but as Vishishta, as possessor of virtue becomes Mithya. Andu abhisandatvam, bandhatvam cha, bandhanam cha bhavatam dhromeva. So those of you who are constantly meditating upon Mithya, there for you there is bondage. Andu abhisandhi. So you have abhisandhi, the constant awareness of what is false, and bandhanam cha, and therefore the bondage is sure for you. Bhavat abhimata vaikunthopi mithya. Go all the way, And so Vaikuntha that you are talking about also is Mithya. That's part of creation. Separate from you. What is separate from you cannot be real. If you are Satyam, then anything other than you is Asatyam or Mithya. Tathacha bandeva tatra dvaita sadbhavat vaya anivrittehe. So even if you go to Vaikuntha, you cannot be liberated because dvaita sadbhavat. Even after reaching Vaikuntha also, you look upon Lord Hari or Vishnu as separate from you. So duality is there. So dvityadvai bhayam bhavati. When duality is there, fear will be there, and therefore abhayam cannot be. If abhayam or fearlessness is not there, then bondage is not gone. So even when you go to Vaikuntha, you continue to remain bound. Ishrute. You are declaring Hari as mithya. He says, look, apicha Hari na swarupena mithya. In Swarupa, Hari also is Brahman, therefore is not mithya. Swarupata, nothing is mithya. Purnameva avashishyate. So ornaments are mithya, but as gold they are satyam. So Jiva also is mithya, but as Brahman is satyam. As Upadi Hari may be mithya, but as Swarupa, Brahman is satyam. Tasya Satpagunayukta Mayopadiga Brahma Rupatvat Tat Apalapaha Advaitana Kartum Ashakya iti. Advaitin also cannot dismiss Hari. They don't. Satpagunayukta Mayopadiga Brahma Rupatvat. What is Hari? Hari also is Brahman with the Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Maya as the Upadi. So Brahman with Sattva Pradhana Upadi, that is Maya, is Hari. So, as Brahman, Hari also is real. So, if there is an Advaitin who says there is no Hari, because there are Advaitins who cross all these boundaries also, says, I don't believe in Ishvara, I say, I believe in Atma, I don't believe in Ishvara. And stuff like that, So, Tad apalapaha advaitina kardum ashakya. Advaitin also cannot dismiss Hari. Because as Swarupa, Hari also is Satyam. So, this footnote clarified here what is being taught in this particular section. In contrast to what the it continues in the next page also. Yatra madhvanuyayi uchyate. What the anuyayis of Madhvacharya say, that Advaita Siddhikara aho. That is Madhusudan Saraswati, Advaita Siddhikara. So Tattvamasi, how is being interpreted differently by the Dvaitins, is refuted by, because Advaita Siddhi. So he has to establish Advaita with reasoning. And therefore, those who establish Dvaita have to be refuted. So, whatever kind of arguments or reasoning or they may have used, you have to show the fallacy in that reasoning. Tattvamasi Vakye Padadvaya Lakshana Apekshaya. Now what happens is, Vedantin says that Tat and Tvam, both of them will get Lakshana. Tatpada generally means Ishvara, means Mayopadik Brahma. And Tvam means Jiva, means Avidyopadi Brahma. Therefore, the Upadi Amsha, which is Viruddha Amsha, has to be Bhagatyaga Lakshana. By Bhagatyaga Lakshana, remove the Viruddha Amsha, and this Tattvamasi shows the identity of what is Aviruddha, which is Chaitanyam, consciousness. So, that Advaitin accepts the Lakshana for both the words Tat and Tvam. That's not right, they say. So, Padadvaya Lakshana Apekshaya Tat Padasya Tat Sahacharite Tat Janyeva Tat Adhineva Tat Sadrusheva Lakshana Angikriyatam Ityadi Uktam. So, Tat Padasya Lakshana Lakshana Angikarya Tat Sahacharite, he is Sahachari, Tat Janye. So Jiva is Sahachari of Brahma, or born of Brahma, or Adhina, or depend upon Brahma, Tat Sadusha, or similar to Brahma. Because the mukti is in 4 stages, So, Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya. Of course, this is a mukti which is prescribed by the Vishishta Advaitins, not by the Dvaitins. But, so Tat is Tat. the Tvam is to be explained by Lakshana Vritti as Tat Sahacharite. That Jiva is Sahachara with Brahma. Or Tajjanya is born of Brahma. Tad Adhina or dependent upon Brahma. Tad Sadurusha or similar to Brahma. Angikiyadi Ityadi Uktam. So they say that, hey Vedantin, Advaitin, you are accepting Lakshana for both Tat and Tvam Pada. We say that Lakshana is required only for Tvam Pada. When you just explain the Tvam Pada as we did, then no, that's not right. Tattvam Padayoho Vishesha Bhuta Shuddha Chaitanya Paratvena Lakshana Abhavad Shuddhe Tatparye Shadlinga Shadvilingai Gnayamane Uptartheshu Lakshana Ayogat Tattvam Padayoho Vishesha Bhuta Shuddha Chaitanya Paratvena. Both the words Tat and Tvam, they are Vishesha Bhuta. So that it is qualified, that consciousness, Lakshana Bhavat, Shuddhe Tatparye. So Tat and Tvam do not mean the qualified consciousness, but pure consciousness. How? Sadvidalingai Jnayamane. When you apply the Upakrama Upasamhara, etc., then you realize that the Lakshana Vritti should be in Shuddha Brahma, Shuddha Chaitanya, not in Vishishta Chaitanya. According to them, the Ishvara remains the Vishishta Chaitanya and Jiva also then is interpreted accordingly. Uktateshu Lakshana Ayogat. So Yukta, Sat Sahacharite, Tajjanye, Lakshana is not proper. Ateva Lupta Trutiyadi Vyaktikatvam Tat Padasyedi Prayuktam Gaurava Pratyuktam Gauravad. So Tasya Tvamasi, Taya Tvamasi, something like that, you know. So Lupta Trutiya. Tattvamasi is taken as a compound, and then because in Tatpurusha compound, the Vibhakti is Lupta. So Vibhakti is there, but is not shown there, that's all. So Raja Purusha, Rajnya Purusha, 6 cases there. But there is a Lopa, and that's how Samasa happens. So they say the Lupta Trutiya, they take different vibhaktis between Tat and Tvam and explain Tat Padasyedi Pratyuktam Gauravat. So then Taya Tattvamasi, etc., etc. Tattvamasi, Taya Tvamasi, Tasya Tvamasi, Tasmin Tvamasi. So the word Tat is interpreted with different vibhaktis Gauravena. So if you can explain without vibhakti as Tat, then you don't have to go to a longer route, so Gauravat Pratyuktam. Yadapi Tat Padasya Purvavakyastha Aitadatma Paratvam Itadatmana Idam Aitadatma Vidyarthatvat Brahma Sambandhitvam Ityartha iti. So how to interpret Aitadatma Idam Sarvam? Idam Sarvam Aitadatmam. This universe has Etat or Sat as the Atma. That's how Vashyakara explained. Then what do they say? Etat Atmana Idam Aitadatmyam. Atma Idam, so Atmyam. Etat Atman Idam Aitadatmam. That's how they explain. So 6 case. Therefore it Brahma Sambandhi. 6 case Sambandhi Shashti. Therefore Jiva is Brahma Sambandhi. Or Jagat is Brahma Sambandhi, etc. You know. Ityatanna Tasya ityarthe Shanya Anabhidhanat Prayoga Abhavacha. Tasya idam. So, because the 6 cases that they taken as a Tatpurusha Samasa, so Jaya Anabhidhanat Prayoga Abhavacha. Now, whatever that is, you know. So, that's some Vyakarana point that we have to see. Ida Atma Vyapakatvena Aita Ityakti Ka Vijnanana Sarvijnana Pratigna Virodhat Heya. Okay. So Aita Atma Vyapakatvena Aita Atma. The Atma is pervading everything and therefore is Aita Atma. So Eka Vijnana Sarvijnana, that means that Vyapaka and Vyapya are different. So by knowing Vyapaka, you do not know the Vyapya. Therefore, Eka Vijnana Pratigna cannot be satisfied, and therefore all those interpretations have to be given up. So anyway, so this Dvaita, the point is how you use your scholarship in grammatically interpreting things and to derive the meaning that you want. And what is very simple, Tattvamasi, very straightforward, can be made so complex in order to derive the meaning that you want to arrive at. But Vedanta started with the sentence. So for Vedanta, Upanishad is Pramanam. Upanishad says you are Brahman, so we begin from there and explain everything else accordingly. Not we begin with our experience of duality and then try to explain Upanishad to justify our experience. Our experience is I am different from Ishvara. So begin from there and try to explain Upanishad. No, begin from Upanishad. Aham Brahmasmi it says. So that is true. Then what you think of yourself is not true. Because there is Satya and Mithya. So that is how the whole Prakriya is arrived at. From Upanishad, Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramana. Here you start with the experience, all Sankhya, all of these fellows do that. Start with the experience of duality and then explain that, create a Siddhanta based on that. But here, this is no Vedanta, Advaita is not a Siddhanta. It is simply what Upanishad says, it is an explanation of what Upanishad says. You call it Advaita, Siddhanta, etc. But then, as far as Advaita is concerned, the Pramana Vakya is Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Prajna, they are all very clear Mahavakyas. So 4 are quoted because they are very clear. There are others also. Some 11 Mahavakyas somebody counted, Sayaschayam Purusya, Yaschya Savaditya. Then next one is Sayekaha, Satyam Jnananandam Brahma, Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. All these are also called Mahavakya. All right. Some other people don't call them Mahavakya. Anyway, they call it Avantaravakya. Only these 4 are Mahavakya. Even Satyam Jnanandam Brahma only talks about Brahma. Doesn't talk about the Atma. It doesn't clearly say the identity. So it is Avantaravakya. But anyway, so the reason why this has to be done, the Shastrartha has to go on and Paraspara refutal has to take place for getting clarity. Because people will be confused otherwise, because they have so many things going on around and they're exposed. They don't have naturally the level of intellect to see what is false in this. Therefore, those who are well versed, it is their job to clarify. There were in the olden days, now Shastrartha was always there. Here now, our interest is to all include, all dharmas are equal and they are also, now it is political stuff and so that's okay. Politics also is required and therefore this debate of who is right and who is wrong also can be there, but there is no, for this debate you must have an open mind. The open mind is not there. People are so staunch in their belief, they don't want to accept anything. That we are right, everybody else is wrong, is already concluded. Open-mindedness is there, there can be a debate. Otherwise there cannot be, otherwise there will be fight. So, but how in India always the debates were there. Shastrartha was always there. And you were required to prove your point and prove the other fellow wrong. Otherwise, come back again. Like the boxing champion, not this time, next time, But anyway, so this kind of bouts were always going on among all different schools of thought. So everybody had to be equipped. Everybody had to discover new tools. So that way the whole tradition became enriched. Because of openness, because everybody had a place. So therefore, there was no fighting and you're killing because you don't accept me, therefore I'll kill you and stuff like that. It was never there. Openness, you are free to believe what you want. But understand that what you believe is not right, okay. So therefore, some little discussion was presented here. Dvaita and Advaita. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.